G'day everyone, Peter Posey here. Hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Sunday, the 9th of April, 2023, and the time here is 08:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Plenty to go through, folks. Let's get into it. Here is my sponsor, Totally Rawesome, who make golden activated turmeric paste and other items. Happy Healing Silica, Kakura bombs, and turmeric paste for your dogs or pets. I've told you guys about this before. If you haven't tried it, you need to take it. Honestly, if you've got joint pain, well, just take it for general well-being. Honestly, it is the best stuff ever. Otherwise, I wouldn't be promoting it. That's where you can find them at the markets on the left-hand side. And the contact 0433, hang on, put my glasses on, 165848, and info@totallyrawesome.com.au. Okay, now I'm going to say this so you guys understand how hard it is to make videos. And if you see a thing on my neck here, sorry about that, I've got blackjack on my neck and I tried to get it off, but it won't come off. It is. So the last video I did, I've been trying to make videos since then. Every single time I go on the video, it just clicks out. Then I ended up with this tick, like a tick, on my computer for 2 weeks, 2 solid weeks. No reason. It's a brand new computer. So I want you to understand that if I do the time to do this, I pay a penalty to do this. And it's now apparent that I can only make one video a month. So I've got to wait a 4-week duration before I can do another video where the algorithm or whatever it is that's being processed on my side to do this wears off. So my last video was the first video I did in about 9 months or something. Now, people went and watched that video. The comments can only go up to so many, and the views only go up to so many, even though my subscriber base is going up. So I'm obviously being corralled into a certain thing. So here's what I'm going to do. I've kind of realized a few things. One, if I show you something from another channel, there must be an algorithm that says, you know, oh, look, he's showing something. Blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. Right. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to speak from now on and point out a few things. And then you can go and find what you need to find. I'll point you in the right direction. Okay, so let's start off. Obviously, unless you're living under a rock, the banking crisis. Now, it's kind of interesting that I had all those people years ago, and like I said, I was probably the same. Hang on a sec. Years ago said, you're doom and gloom, da, 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 da. Well, they've done everything that you can think of, and then stuff you can't even think of to keep this system going. The US national debt is now, I don't know, 31.5 trillion. So let's say 32 trillion. You can't pay back 1 trillion. David Morgan, Bill Holter, God, you know, the whole list of them have told you that for years. You can't pay back 1 trillion. If you've got all the billionaires in the world, not just America, then there still wouldn't add up to $1 trillion to pay off the debt. So imagine if you're $32 trillion in the hole. You've got to do some scheming to get that or keep that going, which of course is nefarious and is of course illegal. But if you've got a section of society that expects that to keep going, then they're on your side. I'm talking general population. So once you get past the 50-50 point and you get to 70, 80% of people who expect that to keep going, to keep their lifestyle, their houses, their cars, and everything else, then you can basically do whatever you want, which is what they're doing. They now know that 80% of the population expects them to keep doing what they're doing. Now, the problem with that is that you get to a point where, let's say 70% of the population, so that leaves us 30% of the population are going, oh my God, and are preparing. But that's not the case, because 30% of the people aren't preparing. Think about this. So you've got 1% of the population. Oh, okay, let's be rough. So let's say 5% of the population that is preparing, who are aware that there is a massive problem. So that's 25% of the population that are going, yeah, well, petrol's going up, food's going up. Oh, well, they'll fix it. Even though they know there's a problem, like it's there in their face, but they're just not doing anything about it. They're going to wake up on Monday, go down to the bank, and it's closed. I'm going to give you a classic example of what's going on at the moment. So yesterday, it was a public holiday on Friday here in Australia for Easter. So all the shops were shut. It's the one day in Australia, even more so than Christmas Day, I think, where everything is shut. That's the law. I think, like the major retailers and malls and all that sort of stuff are shut. And one of the reasons they do that is because they can't afford to pay the wages of people working on the Friday, because it's triple pay. So they just shut. Now, so that's Thursday that they're open. So you would think on a good day, on a good night, Thursday night, that all the stocks would be, or the shelves would be stocked. So that when they open up on Saturday, right, which was yesterday, everything would be fully stocked. So I went to Aldi's down in my local shopping mall here, just down the road, it's 3 k's away from here. There was nothing, no food, frozen food, chicken tenders, chicken breasts. There was no chicken products, none. And you're talking like, you know how big the frozen aisle is. No chips, no nothing. Fries for you Americans. So imagine you go in there on a Saturday morning and there's no food. This happened yesterday, just yesterday. So I grabbed the girl and I said, where's all the stuff? She said, we haven't had it for a week. A week. Let that sink in. 1 week. And I went, a week? I said, that's not possible. She said, I'm sorry, but it's true. We haven't had any of this stuff for a week. Now, reflect that back to your own mental capacity of what you're going and seeing when you go shopping. There will always be 2 or 3 things at the moment that are missing. This is happening more and more and more, folks. So imagine what happens when this totally breaks down in the coming weeks and months. Which is what's happening. That's reality. They're breaking this down. The reason they're breaking it down is so that, and remember, the Australian dollar is floated to the American dollar. So if the American dollar goes down or it goes up, our dollar goes up or down. Now, we're in a really precarious position here, because when this finally starts on unwinding, and before I go unwinding, so ask yourselves, how many banks in America have gone broke in the last couple of weeks? You know of three: SVB, Signature, Silicon Valley. Oh, that was Silicon Valley. There's Signature and the other one. I can't remember the other one. So that's the three that you know about. Do you realize, or do you know, that those three banks, just those three, they spent more money bailing them out than the 2008 financial crisis? That's a fact. So three banks went bust. The government stepped in and spent more money, the US government spent more money bailing them out than they did in the whole of the 2008 financial crisis. Now, how many more banks have gone bust? Try 7. And it's escalating every single day. There's so many banks going bust or that are technically bankrupt that they're holding daily meetings to prop them up. So this is not now, and remember, if you're old enough to remember, 2008, 2 banks went bust. What were they? Lehman Brothers and then Bear Stearns. That's it. But that was enough to cause a financial crisis. So now you've got 7 banks in America that are technically insolvent, that have either been propped up or are actually trading as bankrupt in the full knowledge of the federal FDIC in America. Think about that. So you've got 7 banks that are technically insolvent. Well, take 3 of those out because they just disappeared anyway. They just went bankrupt. So you've got 4 banks trading right now today. Now, that's not the true number. The true number is 186 banks that are technically insolvent trading today. So let's move on from that a bit. So what happens? What happens when somebody goes, okay, we're gonna, this can't keep going on. Now, don't forget the Russians, the Chinese, and everyone else, 142 countries are ditching the dollar. So all those dollars that they have to come back to America. Now, what happens when America goes, well, you know what? If you guys are going to get rid of our dollar, we're not going to use the dollar anymore. We're going to go to this central bank digital currency. 80% of the population is going to go, yeah, to keep the illusion going. You know, there'll be a bit of turmoil in between, but 80% of the population will keep that going. Keep the debt going. And then, okay, well, if you want central bank digital currency, we'll give you $100, but you have to come down to the bank and you have to get this chip in your arm or in your hand or wherever. Because we need to keep a track. We can't go back to the old way because the old way failed because everything was so corrupt. So now we're going to stop everything being corrupt, and you have to have a chip in your hand, or to be able to buy a carton of cornflakes, you've got to be on this digital chips scheme. So we know exactly, you know, people aren't buying 24 boxes of toilet paper when they should only have 2. That's where this is going. Sadly, I don't have any answers because that's where this is going. I don't know if anybody has any answers. You won't even be able to go down to the petrol station to get petrol in your car. That's how bad this is going to get. Now, remember, Australia is a test place for the rest of the world. So when the Australian dollar the arse starts to drop out of the Australian dollar, goes down to about 40 cents, which is going to happen real quick, which is good for exports, obviously bad for imports. What do we import? Just about everything. What do we export? Few. Iron ore, little bit grain, not much. So when all these people start screaming and yelling, oh, well, you can go down to the petrol station and put your chip on the scanner machine so you can get $20 worth of petrol. That's what's coming. Before they do that, they'll say money is no good anymore. Cash money. Can't use cash. You have to use a credit card. So when they say that, know that they're going to change over real quick to the central bank digital currency, which is basically what a credit card is anyway. Let's be honest. So you want to go and put petrol in your car, you can only put $25 worth in. And you can only do that with a credit card. And all those transactions will be monitored. Surprisingly, it will be the lower end of people and the higher end of, or the middle class, higher middle class, and the lower middle class, class of people that will demand that this happen. So one, the higher middle class can keep their illusion going of their lifestyle, and the lower people, and they will force this on. They will force this because the government will be turning around saying, well, it's not fair on the lower class of people that the higher class of people can have more. Why should a bloke who's earning $100,000 a year be able to put $50 worth of petrol in his car when the other person can only put $5? So we're going to average that out, and it's $25. This is the bullshit that's coming. Sadly. Look, there's no real answer. You guys, a lot of the comments over the years have been, you're a nut job. This is all conspiracy theorist shit. Probably true. But it's happening. It is actually happening. And we're in deep shit. I'm going to say this again. Get a bag ready for each and every individual in your family. Start going down, buying jerry cans and storing them at home. Go down to Bunnings if you can. Obviously, if you can afford this, great. If you can't, then you're going to struggle a little bit. But I've been moving hell or high water to get what I'm saying. Go down to Bunnings, buy 2 or 3 gas bottles so you can cook on a barbecue. If you can't do that, go get a fire pit organised so you can cook on an open fire. There's plenty of wood out there. Go and find some. Learn how to grow something, anything, beans, grow food that's quick growing, lettuce, beans, silver beet, all those types of things. Don't waste your time on bloody carrots and potatoes. And, If you can grow potatoes, great. Look up on YouTube and find the quickest and easiest method for growing potatoes. Everybody can grow potatoes. It's that easy. Okay, but they take time. There's this everything needs to be quick. Quick bag, quick jerry can, quick gas, quick wood, quick. Do you understand? So that you're not searching for stuff and waiting for stuff. It needs to be now. You need to be able to go and put your hand on it, get it, take it home. Kangkong. Right, if this is a tip for everybody. If you don't know what Kangkong is, we've started growing it at home last year, and it is without a doubt one of the things that's helped our family's health out dramatically. And it's resilient, and it is absolutely packed full of nutrition. It's one of the foods that they won't sell too much out of at shops. You've got to find it from specialty shops. They called it a water lily in Thailand. The bloody stuff grows wild, but it is extremely nutritious in iron, calcium, everything in there in that kangkong is really good for you. And you can feed it to your chickens, and it grows. It's prodigious grow. It's fantastic. Go and plant some kangkong. Kangkong. I think that's probably the way you say it. I'm an Aussie, remember? You can grow that shit anyway. You just keep watering it, and it'll grow exponentially. It's fantastic. And that's my tip. Buy some leafy greens, silver beets, spinach, anything like that grows really quick and really easy. That'll keep your blood levels up. Okay, oxygen in your blood. Look, I don't know where this is. I don't know how this ends. But I've been telling you from the beginning how it starts, and this is how it starts. We're way past the start. Way past. Look, like I said to you, I actually started making videos again because I was so concerned that people weren't getting ready that I thought it's my civic duty to make sure that some people are. And as I said to you, if you can send my videos to anyone, go and do it, right? Because it's not that I want to be a big noter on YouTube or anything. If you save one person, just one, then you've done your job. Maybe one person will hear this and go, holy shit, he's right. Look what they're doing in America with the passports. They're stopping passports. What does that tell you? They're not stopping them because they've got a backlog or anything else. They're stopping them because they don't want people to leave the country to get out of America. Or conversely, come back in. And that will be the case all around the world. They are going to stop you from going anywhere. Don't you get it? Lock you down, stop you from traveling. They've done it before. They're going to do it again. There's no two ways about it. This is how it happens. So whichever country, if you're stupid enough at the moment to be booking a world travel cruise or whatever the hell you're going to be on, you're an idiot. And I'm telling you straight, you're an idiot. Because you might go to, okay, let's just pick a semi-neutral country, Croatia. You might go to Croatia and you might never get out of there. I've told all my friends, all my family, I'm not going anywhere unless I can fly somewhere, like to Cairns, for example, which is my hometown, and I can drive back. I'm not even going to go to Tassie, and I'm definitely not flying to WA. I've got a lot of friends and family and that in WA. I'm not going to WA. It's a 4-day trip back. 3-day trip, sorry. That's if you drive 24/7. It's a 3-day trip back. And that's if you can get petrol on the way back after this shit hits the fan. So that's what I'm doing. I've got friends of mine who said they're going overseas soon. And I went, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, but you are an idiot. Are you aware of what's going on at the moment? You could be anywhere, and once this collapses, you ain't ever coming home. Or if you do, it's going to be a nightmare. If you're lucky enough to get on a plane that's going to charge you $20,000 to get home. Anyway, enough ranting. Get ready. Keep ready. That's the main thing. Right, let's do the prayers. Okay. For if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God through the death of his Son, much more, having been reconciled, we shall be saved by his life. Okay, now I usually read the KJV prayer, which this one is, but it's interesting to note. I found this, which I thought was Matthew chapter 6, and I'll read the whole thing because it's quite pertinent. And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathens do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. Be not ye therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth what things ye have need of, before ye ask him. After this manner, therefore, pray ye. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory for ever and ever. Amen. I thought that was interesting. And the reason I find that interesting is because it's one of the credences that I pray to God to. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in organised religion. I don't believe in any of that crap. I do believe in the link between me and him. Now, this whole Jesus thing, I'm not totally on board with, mainly because of my upbringing, Roman Catholic, and, getting it drummed into me and all that sort of stuff. I may come around, I'm not sure. But interesting that is the credence that I've always, I know of that prayer. But see, how many times have you heard the Lord's Prayer, but you've never heard the beginning, which that is? That's the precedent for the prayer. So what he was saying before the Lord's Prayer is what actually should be said. But you never hear it. No one ever says that. Because they want you to go to church and put money in their coffers so that you can feel bad about praying to God because you're paying money to people to feel bad for your sins. Well, if I've got any sins, which I probably have, and I guess everybody has, I talk to the big guy upstairs about that. I ain't going to no priest and bloody nuns and, anyone else, guru, shaman, and bloody synagogue people, whatever, rabbi, or I don't need any of that crap. But that's me. Right, let's leave it there. Prepare. Make sure your family's okay. Start getting water, food, whatever you can, guys. Oh, this is important. One last thing. If you're commenting, put where you're commenting from. Because if you haven't realised, there ain't a lot of us around, and you need each other to build a community. So if you're from WA, put WA. WA people connect. Queensland people connect. They might be the people that save your life in the future. That's how important this is, or that is. You need to build a community. Even if it's 3 of you, 2 of you, that's a community as far as I can see in this what's coming. All right. God bless. Prep out.